The giant screens in Seoul's main square showed the same thing as screens all over Earth. A spaceship was coming. Not from Earth, but from somewhere far away in space. It was July 15, 2087, the day that changed everything. Sung Ta watched from his small office at the Korea Advanced Institute of Science. His hand shook as he drank his coffee. After years of working on rocket engines, the 40-year-old engineer could not believe what he was seeing. "They call themselves the Talon Collective," said the news reporter. "And they say they come in peace." 3 days later, Sung got a call. The government wanted him to lead a team to study the alien ship. The Talons had called it a gift to help humans join other space-traveling races. "I'm just an engineer," Sung told his boss. "You're the best engineer," his boss said. "The world needs you." The first time Sung saw the ship up close, he felt small. It sat in a special building built just for it outside of Seoul. The ship was smooth and gray, shaped like a teardrop, and as big as 3 soccer fields. A tall, thin Talon with pale blue skin named Kel stood nearby. "This vessel will help your people understand space travel," he said, his voice oddly flat. "It is a stepping stone to the stars." Hannah Kim, a military analyst with sharp eyes and an even sharper mind, stood next to Sung. "Why give us a ship?" she whispered. "What do they really want?" Sung had wondered the same thing, but the politicians were too excited to ask hard questions. "Free technology," they said. "A new age for Earth." For 2 weeks, Sung and his team could only look at the outside of the ship. The Talons were always watching, explaining things in ways that didn't quite make sense. Then came the day the Talons finally let them inside. "This is the control room," Kel said, waving his long fingers at dark panels and strange seats. "Simple enough for humans to learn." Sung noticed how Kel said, "simple enough for humans," with a slight change in tone. It didn't sound friendly. As days passed, Sung's excitement turned to doubt. Many systems in the ship didn't work. Parts were missing. The power core barely had enough energy to run the lights. "This isn't a gift," Sung told Hannah one night as they worked late. "It's like giving a child a car with no engine and 3 wheels." "Exactly," Hannah said, looking around to make sure no Talons were near. "It's junk. The question is, why give us junk?" By the end of the month, Sung had made a complete list of everything wrong with the ship. The list was very long. When he showed it to his government bosses, they looked worried. "Fix it," they said. "The world is watching. We need to show we can use this technology." Sung tried to explain that the ship wasn't just broken. It seemed to be broken on purpose. But no one wanted to hear that. That night, as the last engineers left the ship, 2 Talons stayed behind. They spoke quietly in their strange language, not knowing that Hannah had hidden a small recording device nearby. Later, in Sung's office, they played the recording. A computer program translated the alien words. "The humans have no idea what they're looking at," said Kel's voice. "They think we've given them a great gift. Will they figure out how to make it work?" asked the second Talon. "Impossible," Kel laughed. "We've removed all the important systems. They'll spend years just trying to turn it on properly. By then, it will be too late." "Too late for what?" Sung asked, looking at Hannah. Hannah's face was grim. "I think we need to find out quickly. And we need to keep this recording a secret." Sung nodded. The gift was looking more and more like a trap. But if the Talons thought humans would give up easily, they were wrong. Very wrong. 6 months had passed since the Talons gave Earth their gift. 6 months of hard work with little to show for it. The ship still sat in its huge building outside Seoul, and Sung Ta was tired of failing. "Another day, another dead end," he said, rubbing his eyes. His team had grown from 20 to 200 people, but the ship kept its secrets. That morning, Sung got a surprise. Hannah Kim walked in with a man he had never seen before. "This is Da Park," Hannah said. "He's the best weapons expert in Korea. I got the military to let him join us." Day was short with round glasses and messy hair. He didn't look like a weapons expert. He looked like he might trip over his own feet. The aliens are hiding something, Daz said, not bothering to say hello first. No one gives away a spaceship without a reason. Some liked him right away. Show him the power core. Some told Hannah. That's our biggest problem. The core sat in the middle of the ship. It was a round metal ball with strange patterns on it. It gave off a soft blue light, but barely had enough power to run the ship's basic systems. Day walked around it slowly. He touched it gently, then took out a small tool and placed it against the surface. The tool made a quiet beeping sound. Interesting, Daz said after a while. What is it? Hannah asked. This core isn't weak, Daz said. It's just set up wrong. See these patterns? They can be changed to make new energy flows. How do you know that? Sung asked. Because I've been studying the small piece of Talon tech they gave to our military, Daz said. They think alike in everything they make. They never consider other options. For the first time in months, Sung felt hopeful. The next day, they tried something new. Instead of following the Talon instructions, they tried to turn on the ship's computer their own way. Sung had built a simple adapter that connected Earth computers to the alien system. It probably won't work, he told the others. But let's try anyway. When they turned it on, the ship's lights flickered. Then, to everyone's surprise, a screen lit up with strange symbols. We did it, Hannah said. But what does it say? They worked through the night. By morning, they had figured out that they had turned on an old program in the ship's computer. It was some kind of repair guide with diagrams of the whole ship. Look at this, Sung said, pointing to one image. This is what the power core should look like. See how different it is from ours. They took out parts, Daz said. Important ones. And these systems here, Hannah added, pointing to another screen. They're completely missing from our ship. As they looked through more diagrams, the truth became clear. The Talons had given them a ship that was stripped of its best parts. They had removed weapons, advanced engines, and something called a space fold system. But why leave the diagrams? Sung asked. They didn't mean to, Daz said. This is an automatic repair program. They probably thought they erased it, but they missed a backup copy. That afternoon, Hannah made a discovery that chilled them all. Hidden throughout the ship were small devices not shown in any diagram. These are watchers, she said. They're sending information back to the Talons. They're spying on us. Can we block them? Sung asked. Better, Daz said with a small smile. We can feed them false data. Make them think we're still stuck. That night, the three of them made a plan. They would pretend to make slow progress while actually rebuilding the ship their own way. They would learn all they could from the diagrams, and then go beyond them. The Talons think we're stupid, Hannah said. They think we can't figure out their technology. Then we'll show them how wrong they are, Sung replied. But first, we need to find more people we can trust. This isn't just about fixing a broken ship anymore. No, Dad agreed, his eyes bright with excitement. It's about showing the Talons that humans are not to be underestimated. 1 year after the Talons gave Earth their gift, something big happened. All the countries of Earth formed a new group called the United Earth Defense Initiative, or UEDI for short. Their job was to work together on the alien ship. Sung now led the engineering team. Hannah was in charge of planning what to do with the ship. Day ran the weapons research. They all reported to UEDI leaders from different countries. We need a name for the ship, Sung said during a meeting. We can't keep calling it the alien ship forever. Phoenix, suggested Hannah. In old stories, the phoenix rises from ashes to live again, just like this ship. Everyone liked the name. The Phoenix it was. The first big success came when Sung's team fixed the engines. They didn't just repair them, they made them better. The Talons use only one way to make energy flow, Sung explained to the UEDI leaders. But we found 3 other ways. Our way is 30% more powerful. The leaders were happy, but Hannah reminded them to keep it secret. As far as the Talons know, we can barely make the ship move, she said. Let's keep it that way. One day, a young engineer named Jin Su came to Sung with an idea. Jin was only 25, fresh from school, but very smart. Sir, I've been thinking about our quantum computers, Jin said, showing Sung some papers. I think they can work with Talon technology in a new way. Jin's idea was simple but brilliant. Earth's quantum computers could talk to Talon systems in ways the aliens never thought of. When they tried it, the ship's computer started working 3 times faster. The Talons think in straight lines, Jin explained. Our quantum systems think in all directions at once. By the end of the month, the Phoenix was becoming something new. It wasn't just a fixed Talon ship. It was turning into something that was part Talon, part human, and better than either one alone. Day made the biggest discovery in the weapons room. The Talons took out all the weapons, he told Sung and Hannah, but they left the connections for them. And look what I found hidden in the computer. On his screen were plans for Talon weapons, powerful energy guns that could cut through almost anything. Can we build these? Hannah asked. We can build something better, Daz said with a smile. These weapons use the same energy flow as everything else Talon. But if we use Jin's quantum approach, we could make weapons the Talons won't expect. Sung finished for him. The Phoenix was still far from ready, but now they had a real chance of making it work. Every day brought new progress. The UEDI sent more scientists and engineers from around the world. They all worked together, sharing ideas in ways that would have seemed impossible before the Talons came. Sung often worked late into the night. One evening, as he was checking the power core, Jin ran into the room. His face was pale. Sir, you need to see this, Jin said, holding out a tablet. We caught this message being sent from the watching devices. Sung looked at the translated message. It was from the hidden Talon devices to somewhere in deep space. Humans making unexpected PWROJRESS, sending OBZ or VRs to ACS Sci-281. Arrival in 3 Earth montages. Some called Hannah and Dad right away. They met in a small room away from the ship, where no Talon devices could hear them. 3 months, Hannah said. That's how long we have before they come to check on us. The Phoenix isn't ready. Sung said, we need more time. Then we'll have to fool them, Day replied. Make them think we're still struggling with their junk ship, while we keep working on the real Phoenix in secret, Jin added. They all nodded. The game was getting more dangerous, but also more exciting. Humans were proving smarter than the Talons thought. And soon, the aliens would learn just how big a mistake they had made. The Talon ship landed on a clear spring day. It was smaller than the Phoenix, but sleeker and clearly more advanced. Out stepped Valeri, the Talon observer. Valeri was taller than most Talons, with skin that was more purple than blue. Her eyes moved quickly, taking in everything. I come to see your progress, she told the Earth leaders who came to meet her. The collective is interested in how humans learn. Sung, Hannah, and Dae watched from a distance. They had spent weeks preparing for this visit. Remember the plan, Hannah whispered. Show only what we want her to see. Sung nodded. She must think we're still struggling. The tour began the next day. Sung led Valeri through the Phoenix, showing her the progress they had made. What she saw was a ship that barely worked. The engines made noise but didn't produce much power. The computer systems were slow. You have done some things, Valeri said. Her voice was flat, but Sung could hear the dismissal in it. We're trying our best, Sung said, looking down as if ashamed. Talon technology is very advanced for us. Valeri seemed pleased by this. It is natural. Your species is young. While Sung kept Valeri busy, Dai and Jin were in a secret room deep in the ship. This room didn't appear on any Talon map. They had built it themselves, hidden behind false walls. Inside this room, they worked on what they called the Sunburst Protocol. It was a new way to use the ship's power core, not just for moving the ship, but as a weapon. If this works, Jin said as he connected wires to a small test core, we can turn the energy flow inside out. It would make a pulse that could shut down other ships. Not just shut them down, Daz said with a smile. If we get it right, it could fry every system they have. On the third day of her visit, Valerie asked to see the power core. Sung had no choice but to show her. They had made the core look weak, but they couldn't hide everything. Valerie placed her hand on the core. She frowned. This energy pattern is unusual. Sung's heart beat faster. We had to adjust it to work with Earth power sources. Valerie stared at him for a long moment. I see. That night, after everyone had left, Valerie returned to the Phoenix alone. She placed small devices in several places around the ship. Some would watch the humans more closely. Others would hurt their progress by slowly damaging the systems they had fixed. What Valerie didn't know was that Jin had set up cameras everywhere. From their secret room, he and Dai watched everything she did. She's sabotaging us, Dai said, just as we expected. But she missed our real systems, Jin said. All she's touching are the fake ones we built for her to see. The next day, Valerie announced she was leaving. I will tell the collective of your progress, she told the Earth leaders. Continue your work. We will check on you again. Sometime. As her ship lifted off, Sung, Hana, Da, and Jin met in their secure room. She suspects something, Hana said. I could see it in her eyes. But she doesn't know what, Sung replied. And now we know for sure. The Talons don't want us to succeed. We found and removed most of her new devices, Jin reported. But we left a few to feed her false information. How long until the Sunburst Protocol is ready? Hana asked. A month, maybe 2, Dai answered. We're close. Good, Sung said, because I don't think we have much time. Valerie will report back, and the Talons will realize their gift isn't keeping us down. We need to be ready for whatever comes next. They all looked at each other, knowing that the real race had just begun. The Talons thought they were dealing with simple, backward humans. Soon they would learn just how wrong they were. Outside, in the deep black of space, Valerie's ship sped away from Earth. She was already sending her report. Humans progressing slowly, but something is not right. Recommend closer observation, possibly direct intervention. 2 months after Valerie's visit, Sung was woken by a loud phone call in the middle of the night. Come to the base now. Hannah's voice was tense. Something big is happening. When Sung arrived, the control room was full of worried people. On the big screen was a map of space around Earth, with many red dots moving toward them. What is it? Sung asked. Ships, Hannah said. Many Talon ships. Our deep space station spotted them 3 hours ago. Jin was typing fast on his computer. I'm picking up their signals. They're not trying to hide anymore. Day walked in with dark circles under his eyes. He had been working day and night on the Sunburst Protocol. How many ships? At least 30, Hannah said. Maybe more. Why so many? Sung wondered. If they just want to check on us. They don't, said a new voice. It was General Lee, the head of UEDI. We caught this message an hour ago. He played a recording of Talon's speech. The computer translated. Fleet Commander Czar. Approach Earth with caution. Valerie reports unusual activity. The test phase is complete. If humans show too much potential, proceed with subjugation plan. If not, bypass and continue to the next system. Earth resources are valuable, but not essential. The room went quiet. Everyone understood what this meant. The ship was never a gift. Sung said. It was a test. To see if we were a threat. Or worth taking over, Hannah added. General Lee looked at them all. Is the Phoenix ready to fly? To fight? Sung, Hannah, Da and Jin looked at each other. They had made amazing progress, but the ship was still not fully ready. The engines work at 85%, Sung said. Life support and navigation are good, Jin added. Shields are at 70%, Hannah reported. And the sunburst protocol? The general asked. Da hesitated. It works in tests, but we've never tried it on a real target. How long until the Talon fleet reaches Earth? Sung asked. 5 days at their current speed, Hannah said. General Lee stood up straight. Then we have 5 days to get ready. I'll inform all Earth governments. We need to prepare for the worst. The next few days were a blur of activity. The Phoenix was moved out of its building and into a new underground base. Everyone worked around the clock. On the third day, Earth sent a message to the Talon fleet. We welcome peaceful contact. Please explain the purpose of your approach. The answer came back quickly. Continue your normal activities. The collective comes to assess progress. They're lying, Hannah said. They don't know we intercepted their real orders. By the fourth day, the Phoenix was as ready as it could be. But even with all their improvements, it was just one ship against a fleet of 30. We need more time, some told the others as they met in the ship's control room. Another month, and we could have had more systems working. We don't have a month, Hannah said. We barely have a day. Jin was quiet for a moment, then looked up. What if we don't fight them directly? What if we use what they don't expect? The sunburst protocol, Da said, nodding. It's not perfect, but if we can get close enough to their command ship, it might work, Sung agreed. But it's risky. We've never flown the Phoenix in real space. We don't know if. An alarm cut him off. Jin checked his screen, and his face went pale. The Talon fleet just increased speed, he said. They'll be here in 12 hours, not tomorrow. They're coming to attack, not talk, Hannah said. They must have realized we know their plans. General Lee's voice came over the speaker. All personnel, this is not a drill. The Phoenix must launch now. Earth's defense depends on it. Sung looked at his friends. They were afraid, but also determined. Let's show them what humans can do with a piece of junk, he said. One by one, they took their places. The Phoenix was about to fly for the first time, straight into danger. The Phoenix shook as it rose into the night sky. Sung sat at the main control panel, his hand steady despite his fear. Next to him, Hannah watched the radar screens. Da worked on the weapon systems, while Jin monitored the power core. All systems holding, Jin reported. The core is stable. Earth defense satellites are going dark, Hannah said, pointing to her screen. The Talons are already destroying them. Through the front window, some could see stars. The Phoenix was now in space, flying away from Earth. It was the first time humans had gone so far in a ship this fast. General Lee's voice came through the radio. Phoenix, you are not cleared to engage the enemy. Your orders are to observe only. Sung looked at the others. They had already discussed this. The generals didn't understand what they were facing. Sorry, sir, Sung replied. We're breaking up. Can't hear you. He turned off the radio. The Talon fleet is spread out, Hannah said. Their main ships are still far away, but they have smaller ships closer. Good, Da said. We'll hit the small ones first. Test our systems. Sung turned the Phoenix toward the nearest Talon ship. It was about twice the size of their ship, shaped like a flat disc. They've seen us, Jin warned. They're turning to face us. The Talon ship fired first. A beam of green light shot past the Phoenix, missing by meters. They don't know how fast we can move, Sung said as he made the ship dodge left, then right. The Phoenix was more nimble than any ship the Talons had seen from humans before. Firing main guns, Da announced. The weapons they had built from Talon designs, but improved with human ideas, came to life. A pulse of blue energy hit the Talon ship's side. Direct hit, Jin shouted. Their shields are damaged. The Talon ship fired again, this time hitting the Phoenix. The whole ship shook. Shields at 60%. Hannah reported. One more hit like that. They won't get another chance, Dai said. He pressed a button, and a special missile they had built left the Phoenix. It hit the Talon ship and exploded in a flash of light. When the light faded, the Talon ship was dead in space. Its lights were off, and it was drifting. Did we destroy it? Sung asked. Better, Dai replied with a smile. We shut it down. The missile carried a small version of the Sunburst Protocol. It messed up their power systems. They didn't have time to celebrate. 3 more Talon ships were coming their way. We can't fight them all, Hannah warned. We don't need to, Sung said. We just need to show them we're not easy targets. For the next hour, the Phoenix played a dangerous game of hit and run. They would approach a Talon ship, fire quickly, then speed away before the other ships could catch them. 2 more Talon ships were shut down by the Sunburst missiles. But the Talons were smart. They began to change their tactics, spreading out to trap the Phoenix. They're surrounding us, Hannah said, her voice tense. A large blast hit the Phoenix from behind. The ship spun, and alarms sounded everywhere. Main engine is damaged, Jin reported. Power is dropping fast. Another hit rocked the ship. Some fought with the controls, but the Phoenix was in trouble. Shields at 15%. Hannah shouted over the noise. We can't take another hit. We need to retreat, Dai said. Now. Some pointed the damaged ship toward Earth's moon. It was their only chance. The moon's dark side would hide them while they made repairs. Full speed on the backup engines, he ordered. The Phoenix limped away from the battle, with 2 Talon ships following close behind. They're gaining on us, Jin warned. Just as the Talons were about to fire again, the Phoenix passed the edge of the moon. Sung took the ship down into a deep crater where the Talons couldn't see them. The ship settled with a loud thunk on the moon's surface. Everyone was quiet, waiting to see if the Talons would find them. I think we lost them, Hannah finally said. For now. On the main screen, they could see Earth. A message was playing over all channels. It was the Talon Fleet Commander. People of Earth, your pathetic resistance is noted. You have 24 hours to surrender your planet to the Talon Collective. Refuse, and we will destroy your major cities one by one. Sung looked at his friends. They were hurt. Their ship was damaged, but they were not beaten. 24 hours, he said. That's how long we have to fix the Phoenix and find a way to save Earth. The dark side of the moon was cold and quiet. Inside the Phoenix, emergency lights cast a red glow as the team worked to fix their damaged ship. Main engine is beyond repair, Sung said, wiping sweat from his forehead. At least with what we have here. Hannah looked at the clock on the wall. 18 hours left before the Talons attack Earth. Jin sat in the corner, staring at a small device in his hands. He hadn't spoken much since they landed. Now he looked up with bright eyes. I have an idea, he said. Come look at this. The others gathered around. Jin had taken apart one of the sunburst devices they had used against the Talon ships. Our sunburst protocol works by disrupting Talon power systems, Jin explained. But I think we can make it much stronger. How? Dai asked. Quantum entanglement, Jin said. Remember how Talon ships all use the same basic design. Their power cores are almost the same. If we can entangle our signal with one ship, it might spread to others nearby. Dai's eyes widened. A chain reaction. One ship affects the next, and so on. Exactly, Jin nodded. But we need more power than the Phoenix can generate now. Sung thought for a moment. What about Earth's satellite network? There are hundreds of satellites. If we could link to them, we could use them to boost our signal. Hannah finished. But we'd need to connect to Earth's systems first. While Sung and Jin worked on linking the Phoenix to Earth's satellites, Hannah studied the Talon fleet's movements on their radar. Look at this, she said, pointing to her screen. The Talons always keep their ships in this same pattern. The biggest ships in the middle, smaller ones on the outside. It's how they think, Day said, looking over her shoulder. Always the same way, never changing. That's their weakness. Hannah nodded. And see how all commands seem to come from the center ship. If we take out their leader, the rest might not know what to do, Day finished with a smile. 12 hours before the deadline, a small ship from Earth arrived with supplies and news. The Talons have destroyed our moon base and 3 space stations, the pilot told them. Earth's military is fighting back, but our weapons barely damage their ships. What about the damaged Talon ship we left drifting? Day asked. Still there. No one has come to help it. Day smiled. Perfect. I need to go there. Despite the danger, Day took the small Earth ship back to the damaged Talon vessel. He returned 2 hours later with parts he had taken from it. Their weapon system is amazing, he told the others as he carried in strange-looking metal pieces. And now it's ours. Working together, they attached the Talon weapons to the Phoenix. It wasn't pretty, but it might work. With 8 hours left, Sung called everyone to the control room. We have one chance, he said. The Phoenix can fly, but not for long. We've connected to Earth's satellite network to boost the Sunburst protocol. And we have Talon weapons that they won't expect. Jin's quantum entanglement device is ready, Day added. But we'll need to get close to their main ship for it to work. And how do we do that? Hannah asked. They'll shoot us down before we get near. Not if they can't see us, Jin said. He pointed to a new button on the control panel. I've modified our power core to absorb most scanning signals. We'll be mostly invisible to their sensors. Mostly? Sung asked. Jin shrugged. Nothing's perfect. Hannah looked at the radar again. Earth forces are still fighting. They're buying us time. But they're losing badly. Sung sat in the pilot's seat and started the engines. The Phoenix hummed to life. Not as strong as before, but ready to fly. Let's go show the Talons what humans can do when backed into a corner, he said. As the Phoenix lifted off from the moon's surface, they could see the Talon fleet ahead, their ships spread out around Earth like hungry wolves. Remember, Daz said quietly, we just need to get close enough to their main ship. One good shot with the quantum sunburst, and we might take down their whole fleet at once. And if it doesn't work? Hannah asked. Then we fight until we can't. Sung replied. Earth is counting on us. The Phoenix sped silently toward the waiting Talon fleet, carrying humanity's last, best hope. The Phoenix moved silently through space. Thanks to Jin's changes, the Talon ships didn't notice them at first. Sung kept the ship on a path that stayed behind Earth's satellites whenever possible. We're getting closer to their main fleet, Hannah said, watching the radar. 2 minutes until we're in range. Earth forces are still fighting, Jin reported, but they're down to 30% strength. Through the front window, they could see flashes of light around Earth. Each flash meant a human ship or station was being destroyed. All systems ready, Daz said. The quantum sunburst is charged. Talon weapons are online. Sung took a deep breath. Once we fire, they'll know where we are. We'll only get one chance at this. Suddenly, alarms sounded throughout the Phoenix. They've spotted us, Jin shouted. 3 Talon ships turned toward them. Green beams of energy shot past the Phoenix as Sung made the ship dodge and weave. We need to get closer to their command ship, Hannah said, pointing to a large vessel in the center of the Talon fleet. Working on it, Sung replied through gritted teeth. The Phoenix shook as a blast hit their shields. Shields at 40%, Jin reported. Day fired the Talon weapons they had taken. One of the enemy ships exploded in a ball of fire. That got their attention, Dai said with a grim smile. More Talon ships turned toward them. The Phoenix was fast, but there were too many enemies. We can't fight them all, Hannah warned. We don't need to, Sung said. We just need to get past them. He pushed the Phoenix to full speed, aiming straight for a gap between 2 Talon ships. It was a dangerous move, but it worked. They shot through the gap before the Talons could react. "We're through their first line," Jin said. "Command ship is ahead." The main Talon ship was massive, 10 times the size of the Phoenix. It was surrounded by smaller ships acting as guards. "Now what?" Hannah asked. "We can't get past all those guards." Sung looked at the Earth forces still fighting nearby. He had an idea. "Jin, can you send a message to Earth Command? Tell them we need them to hit the guard ships all at once. Give them the exact spots to aim for." Jin sent the message. Moments later, what was left of Earth's fleet fired everything they had at the Talon guard ships. It wasn't enough to destroy them, but it caused confusion. "Now," Sung shouted. He pushed the Phoenix forward, straight toward the command ship. Talon weapons fired from all sides. The Phoenix took hit after hit. "Shields failing," Jin warned. "Hull damage on levels 2 and 3. "Keep going," Sung ordered. "We're almost there." Just as they got within range of the command ship, something terrible happened. The big Talon vessel turned its main weapons not toward the Phoenix, but toward Earth. "They're going to fire on the cities," Hannah said in horror. "They're done playing games." "Not if we stop them first," Daz said. "The quantum sunburst is ready." The Phoenix was now close enough to the command ship. Dai pressed the button to fire their special weapon. Nothing happened. "The launcher is damaged," Dai said, hitting the panel in frustration. "We can't fire it from here." Sung looked at his friends. They all knew what this meant. "We have to get closer," he said quietly. "We have to hit them directly." "That's a one-way trip," Hannah said. "We won't survive the blast." Sung nodded. "I know, but Earth will." No one argued. They had all known this might happen. "There's a weak spot in their hull," Jin said, pointing to a spot on their screen. "Right there." Sung aimed the Phoenix at the spot. The ship sped up, heading straight for the Talon command vessel. 10 seconds to impact. Hannah counted down. "Fire all weapons," Sung ordered. "Everything we have." The Phoenix fired every weapon, creating holes in the Talon ship's shields. They were going to make sure their final strike hit home. 5 seconds, Hannah said. Dad put his hand on the sunburst control. "For Earth. 3, 2, 1. The Phoenix crashed into the Talon command ship. At the moment of impact, Day triggered the quantum sunburst protocol. A bright light spread from the crash site, growing larger and larger. It passed through the nearby Talon ships, then the ones beyond them. One by one, the Talon ships went dark. Earth was saved. But at what cost? Darkness. Then pain. Then a beeping sound. Sung opened his eyes slowly. White ceiling. The smell of medicine. A hospital room. "He's awake," someone said. Hannah's face appeared above him. She had a bandage on her forehead, but was smiling. "How?" Sung's voice was rough. "We crashed. The sunburst. It worked better than we expected," Daz said, stepping into view. His arm was in a cast. "The pulse shut down all Talon technology, but it didn't destroy everything. Including our escape pod," Jin added, leaning on a crutch. "Though landing was rough." Sung tried to sit up. His whole body hurt, but he was alive. They all were. "Earth?" "The Talons." "Earth is safe," Hannah said. "The Talons." She paused. "Their ships are dead in space. Without working technology, they're stuck." Sung learned that the quantum sunburst had worked exactly as Jin had hoped. It created a chain reaction through the Talon fleet, shutting down all their systems. The Phoenix was destroyed in the crash, but the escape pod had launched automatically seconds before impact. 3 weeks later, Sung stood with his friends at the new UEDI headquarters. On screens around them, workers were taking apart Talon ships. Earth now had 30 Talon vessels, filled with advanced technology. "We've learned more in 3 weeks than we would have in 20 years, General Lee told them. "The Talons themselves have asked for peace talks. Without working ships, they had no choice." "What will happen to them?" Jin asked. They'll be allowed to stay in a special area on the moon until they decide what to do next, the general replied. Many want to go home, but some are interested in working with us. Can we trust them? Hannah asked. Not completely, General Lee said, but we're not naive anymore. We know what they're capable of. In the months that followed, Earth changed. The United Earth Defense Initiative became the Terran Expansion Agency. Its goal was not just to protect Earth, but to explore space on humanity's terms. Sung, Hannah, Dai, and Jin led teams that studied Talon technology. They learned how it worked, but they didn't just copy it. They improved it, added human ideas, made it different and better. One day, a message arrived from a distant star system. It was from another species that had been ruled by the Talons. They had heard about what happened at Earth. They wanted to talk, to form an alliance. They're called the Vox, Hannah explained as she showed the others the message. They've been under Talon control for 100 years. When the quantum pulse hit the Talon ships in their system, they took their chance to break free. Are there others? Some asked. Many, it seems, Jin said. The Talons controlled dozens of worlds. Now those worlds want to know about the humans who stopped them. 5 years after the battle, Sung stood on the bridge of a new ship. It was called the Horizon, the first starship fully designed and built by humans. It used some Talon ideas, but was mostly human technology. Next to him stood Hannah, now Captain Kim, in charge of the mission. Day ran the weapons and defense systems. Jin was the chief engineer. System check complete, Jin reported. All systems green. Course laid in for the Vox homeworld, Dai added. Hannah looked at Sung. Ready for our first real voyage. Sung nodded. He thought about how far they had come. From a junk starship given as an insult to building their own vessels. From nearly being conquered to joining the galactic community as equals. As the Horizon prepared to leave Earth's orbit, a message came through. The distant Vox colony was under attack by a new threat. They were asking for help. Hannah didn't hesitate. Set course to assist. Maximum speed. As the stars streaked past the windows, Sung smiled. The Talons had given humans a piece of junk, thinking it would keep them weak and contained. Instead, it had forced humanity to think, to innovate, to become stronger. The lesson was clear. Never underestimate humans. Give them a problem, and they'll find a solution. Give them a piece of junk, and they'll turn it into something amazing.